I'm from Westaco, Texas, the RGB. I was born in the Harlingen Hospital, 93.
So you lived all your life here in South Texas? Okay.
I am from Reynosa, Mexico.
Okay. Okay. So how long ago did you come to live here?
I've been studying here for like over 10 years, but
Okay.
living here for like 4 years.
Okay.
So I could consider myself
Mexican American?
Mexican American.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've pretty much raised here.
Okay.
I was born in Mexico. I'm from Tamaulipas,
Okay.
and I'm from a little town called Nueva Ciudad Guerrero.
I was born in Edinburgh, but I was raised in San Juan.
Mm-hmm.
But I was raised for the first 8 years of my life in Reynosa.
Okay.
I'm originally from Mexico. I was born in Veracruz, which is a port city on the coast of Mexico. And I moved to Reynosa when I was like 2 or 3 years old. Then I moved to the border here in the United States when I was 11. So that's like 10 years ago.
Talking about my background, well, I'm from Mexico. Well, my background, it comes from Spain, but my grandparents are from Nuevo León in Tamaulipas. My parents are from Reynosa, as well as I. I was born in Reynosa, Tamaulipas, Mexico. And yes, I'm totally Mexican, you know.
How long have
pure
you
Mexican.
been living here in the U.S.?
Around 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
I think they are embarrassed of probably how they sound, or because they've never been taught the right way how to talk Spanish, and that's why sometimes I think they're ashamed of speaking Spanish in front of people.
A little bit of a culture shock, but not too much, because the valley itself is very Hispanic friendly. Once you move past California, it's a different story. But the valley is kind of like a limbo. It's a very unique place. It's very unique. It was okay. It was not too bad. I think a lot of people don't use the Spanish just because it's not as required anymore, and they don't see it as a privilege as being bilingual, which is something that once you move out of the valley into like upper cities of Texas and even up north, it's something that is very valuable. Just because here we don't have that recognition to being bilingual, that's why people I don't think appreciate it as much. But if they were to be in another city and they had the opportunity, I'm pretty sure we would take it as well. And they were not really put up a big emphasis on their culture and a big emphasis on their way they were raised. And it's not necessarily, I think, their fault. It might be like their parents' fault for not teaching them, or it might be like their community as well. But here in the valley, it's a little bit different, just because we do have the opportunity to speak Spanish. There's people who can have jobs even without like speaking Spanish. I mean, without speaking English.
When I first moved here, I guess I was culture shocked by that because, I mean, they look like me, they dress like me, their parents look like my parents, and it was kind of surprising to see that they were from Mexican households, but yet they didn't speak Spanish. It didn't exactly make sense, but I always held back from making fun of them because I didn't want people making fun of me for not speaking English as well. So
They're afraid of traditions. Now, I wouldn't understand why speaking language, because most people here actually speak Spanish, right? So I don't feel there's nothing to be ashamed of. More if you're originally from Mexico, right? People don't really make fun of you for not speaking English. They could make fun of you for your accent. Like in my case, I have an accent, but they don't really.
Yes, so I know some people that were born here in the United States and they have Mexican roots, and they want to talk Spanish and say, oh, no, you can talk me in Spanish, háblame en español. Some people say that. And some other people, maybe they speak Spanish, or maybe because of the parents, most of the times that, maybe he or she speaks Spanish. So, okay, ¿me puedes ayudar con esto? And he's like, what? So they have to talk with that person in English. So they want to maybe be reserved about their culture or their background. You know?
They taught me when I was little because that's the way they spoke to me. It's not my native tongue, but they usually tried to mix and match, so I would learn both.
Okay. So how do you feel about some of us who are trying to repel from our roots and wanting to assimilate into the American
I
culture?
feel that living here, it's definitely a necessity to be bilingual, especially with Spanish and English. But for those who kind of want to shy away from it, I mean, there really isn't anything wrong with that, but just know your roots, know where you came from.
And why do you think people are shying away from their roots?
Because when you associate, well, the stigma is when you associate someone with Spanish, they're automatically Mexican. And that automatically makes them bad. That's what the American culture has seen throughout time. That's the way it is.
I guess parents kind of feel guilty for stranding them from their Mexican culture. So, I mean, why would you impose two cultures on them, on your children, if you were the ones that brought them here? You get me? Like, they brought you here, so you must speak English. And then maybe they feel like a burden, you know, asking their children to speak both languages fluently.
So you think it's like a little, like too much work on that child?
I don't think it's too much work, but I do think the parents think it's too much work for the children.
Okay.
I mean, the parents probably weren't enforced to speak English when they were kids in Mexico. Well, that's my case for my parents. My parents don't speak English.
They were trying to, I don't know, make me more American. Like trying to speak English, you know, speak more fluent. I still can't speak English right, but to speak more English than Spanish whenever I can.
And why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is? Because she never said it why, but I kind of picked it up saying that almost everybody in school speak the English. I learned from my friends that speaking Mexican or Spanish it was more from the ghettos than anything else.
A lot of it goes from how they were treated before. So a lot of parents who came here, or grandparents, or a lot of people who came here, they were bullied or they were punished for speaking Spanish. So they kind of wanted to stray away from that and just raise their children in English. That way they wouldn't have to go through that as well. But at the same time, I don't think they noticed that they were hurting them by not offering them the opportunity to learn a second language that they could have used in the future.
At home we speak Spanish, and that's how my mom wants it. She's like, I want you guys to learn how to speak Spanish. I want you guys to learn my culture. You know, my mom's from Michoacan and my dad's from Guanajuato, and that's how they've raised us, you know.
And do you think that's good?
Yeah, I think that's good, you know.
Why?
Knowing other cultures, and it's fun to get to know other.
Stay close to your roots.
Yeah, to stay closer to your roots and to know like where you come from.
It can be a mistake from the parents because they teach well, maybe they know English, and then because their sons or daughters, they were born here, so they talk in English, and then they go to school and they talk English all the time because they're here. So if they don't teach them something in Spanish, at least the basic, and they will like not lose, but they will not catch, you know, the connection with their ancestral language.
Yes.
Right. So yes, so at least they must know the basic in order to like develop more their skills, and they can know both languages, because also it's a plus to know both languages in a future work or some future job, you know. So it's very important.
They don't really make fun of that. Probably make fun of the mariachis and sombreros. And it's not that they make fun of it, it's more like they don't really take it too serious. Kind of like the 4th of July, that's like a serious celebration. They don't really take like mariachi serious, or they make fun of you if you play the guitars and stuff like that.
So why do you think people are more like drawn to like the American culture and just want to do away with their Mexican culture?
Probably because it depends where they're like located. If they've been living here for like a long time, they probably want to, I don't know, just go with the people, go with the flow, kind of.
Okay.
And it's the thing that's getting more popular right now, like music and stuff like that.
Yeah, they want to listen to like English music. They don't listen to like mariachi or banda and stuff like that, right?
Just whatever they like. Like I don't like that. I've lived over there for like the rest of most of my life, right? But I don't listen to mariachi or any of it, just because I don't like it.
Okay.
Everybody asks this in their lifetime: are you American or Mexican? You know, people think that you can only choose one side. You can't represent the other. You know, in any way. That one side is superior. Like, are you 100% American, or are you still with Mexican communist or something like that?
And what do you think do you think one of them is superior over the other?
Not really.
No.
No, I feel like they equal themselves out. Like, a person can be American, but still represent their Mexican roots. You know, none of them is superior to the other. They both have rich in culture.